This episode of Coach's Corner brought to you by The Groove Yard, More Than a Rock Store, Divine Hammer Computers, custom built fast computers, and Advanced Audio Microphones Summerland. On this episode of Coach's Corner, we talk about the last two games for the VEES, Merritt and Trail. Talk about Trail coming up this weekend for a double dip. Basically, we're going to talk lots about the Trail Smoke Eaters and the Penticton VEES in this episode of Coach's Corner. All that and more, because Coach's Corner starts now.
From the Best Damn Sports Bar on Martin Street in Penticton, with our fourth season, this is Coach's Corner. It's the show that brings you insight to the on and off ice action of the 2012 RBC Cup National Champions, the Penticton VEES. Host Fraser Rogers is joined by VEES head coach and GM Fred Harbinson, with the Best Damn studio audience for the Best Damn VEES talk. Now, here's Coach Harbinson and Fraser Rogers.
Welcome inside the Best Damn Sports Bar here in Penticton. Another episode of Coach's Corner, actually episode 18 as the regular season winds down for the VEES. 4 games left heading to this weekend, the first time in a long time. We're not talking about a win on the weekend. Got to go way back in early November when under the World Junior A Challenge, the VEES didn't come with a win on a weekend. Start back on Saturday. I talked about it after the game, kind of ghosts of Kaminko kind of strike again in Trail. Is this just one of the hardest places to play with just everything involved with it? Maybe travel, the rink, the weird bounces?
Yeah, you know what? I think we probably make more, out of it than it really is. I mean, last year we talked about that, and when we looked at our overall record over, my now 6 years. I mean, our record's pretty good in there, but we've had some funny games. There's no question about it. We've had a lot of overtime losses in there, and we talked about the bounces before the game with our guys, and then it kind of almost became a self-fulfilling prophecy where, obviously the tying goal went off the stanchion and into the net, and no fault of our goaltender. He's doing what he's supposed to do, and it's just one of those things. 2 weeks in a row, where we end up with goals from outside our blue line.
Is it law of averages with hockey? Because really the VEES weren't burned by these kind of bounces all season. Now you kind of see it in back-to-back weekends, or is that just something that's a coincidence?
Yeah, you know what? We've had a lot of great things happen for us over the last few years, and things equal out. And, we've had a few disallowed goals, a few of these wacky bounces, as you mentioned. But you know what? We'll use those up now against us, and maybe we'll get one of them in the playoffs.
It's the 4-3 win for Trail. It's breaking it down. Pretty even first period, pretty tight checking first period. I like the VEES start in that hockey game. You see the one goal Jake Lucchini did score in the first period, but looking at the 20 minutes as a sample size, is that something to build on when you're going into that second period where you had that big push?
Yeah, you know what? I thought we had a lot of chances. We limited their chances. Unfortunately, they, once again, their first goal was kind of from behind the net, but we made an error on a line change and then a read in the neutral zone, and we kind of got scrambling, and then next thing you know, they bank one in from behind the goal line, and we're down. But I thought the guys responded real well, and we had talked about that. Obviously we'll get into the night previous, giving up back-to-back goals within seconds of each other, and so I thought we responded well from that. I thought we had a great second period. Probably should have had a little better fate but gave ourselves a chance going into the third.
Talk about the second period. Was it one of the better periods you've seen in a while from your hockey team, the way you just controlled it from start to finish?
Yeah, we came at them in waves, and we've been talking with our guys, and it was a focal point this week in practice about, if we don't score right away, it's not the end of the world, and it's not about trying to score off the rush. It's about trying to own the tough areas of the rink, the corners, the front of the net, and I thought we did a real good job of that. And it was a good example of just sort of staying with the game plan, and we were able to tie the game in the third period and then push ahead.
Bizarre sequence late in that second period, almost in the final minute, was Sam Eller had 3 good cracks at the goal. Have you seen something of that recently? A player, it looked like the puck was tied to a stick with a magnet way, it came back to back to back. Yeah,
we had three whacks at it, hits the crossbar with one, and he had one in the first period too, where it went off the goalie's mask and out of play, and so yeah, there was scoring doesn't come easy for us, and it hasn't really come easy for a lot of teams this year. We've talked about it a number of times throughout the year about scoring being down due to many different reasons. One being good goaltending and throughout the league, and I think we really talked this week about our mindset being that, we need to try to score 3 goals, and that needs to be enough.
1 goal through 40 minutes of play, then it's a 3-3 tie after 60 minutes of play. Was the third period maybe just a child of the urgency being risen? Something, both teams battling for points, trail a playoff spot, VEES making a push. Did you just see the urgency level rise in that period?
Well, we got the power play goal that we needed, to tie the game, and then we need another good play going to the net. We talked about getting to the front of the net, and once again, right in the crease area, we tap one in and off a deflection, and now we're up 2-1. And at that point, it really felt like we were going to have to make a mistake for them to score the next goal. It just seemed that we were kind of on our game at that point, and unfortunately, like we talked about the bounce that went in, and now it's 2-2. And where I was really impressed with our team is that, a minute or so later, we take a penalty and it ends up in the back of our net. And now we're down, and now you're in a situation where you could be leaving the weekend with no points, and to battle back once again, driving hard to the net, off the rush, and getting a quick puck on net to tie the game up, to send it to overtime was big.
And you get another goal off a net drive, obviously a mini 3-on-2 rush, but you talked about earlier on your second and first goal. You just liked how your team was going to the net in this game compared to maybe Friday night?
Yeah, you know what? On Friday, though, too, we had a lot of great A's, and we had opportunities early in the game that we just didn't finish on. And we need to, be a little, bear down a little more on those chances. They don't come around every day, right? So, I mean, when you have, when you're playing about, a team like Merritt that's a real strong team, and you've got a team like Trail that's desperate is all get out to make the playoffs. Opportunities, as we've seen in the past, come this time of year, come playoff time, are limited, and when you get that chance, you need to make the best of it.
And again, the chances, John Seymour had a great one in overtime as well. Didn't go the VEES way. Talk about that game, though. Both teams are very disciplined. VEES one of the top teams when it comes to penalties against, the least penalized team in the league, and top 3. And Trail only had 4 in their last 3 games. Is that maybe just a product of 2 teams really not getting along, the emotions rising? Because we saw a ton of penalties after every whistle, it seemed like.
Well, that was one area that we were real disappointed with our guys. That was our meeting on Monday, was that all weekend long, I thought, we took 2 hitting from behind penalties that created issues for us on Friday night. Our penalty kill that's been so strong, especially at home, we gave up a couple off the rush, off broken plays, and then in the Saturday night game in Trail, we took 3 penalties after the whistle, which I don't know if we've taken 3 penalties after the whistle in the last 4 months. So it was an area of concern, and it's something that we talked about. And when the heat gets turned up, players start you got to make sure that you keep your head, and you got to stay in the moment, and you can't lose your cool. And we're not a team that's going to get in a lot of that stuff away from the after the whistle and pushing and shoving and that sort of stuff. And we want to stand up for each other. We want to stand up against the guys we're going against, but at the same time, we can't end up on the short end night after night.
You did get a valuable point, obviously, looking at the scoreboard on Saturday with Merritt losing at home in regulation to West Kelowna, pushing the gap to 5. You go back one night before. Kind of strange to talk about a 5-2 loss. Didn't seem like a 5-2 game. Very close through 40 minutes of hockey, obviously. A couple of ill-advised penalties you talked about just seconds ago. And you have a sequence of 2 goals in 10 seconds in the third period. But like you said, you liked the way your team was producing offensively when it came to scoring chances 5-on-5.
Yeah, on the weekend, our grade A's, we more than doubled our opponents. But that's, this time of year, it's about finding a way to get a W. It doesn't have to be pretty. When you're at the 2-1 and then they made it 3-1, the key is there can't be any more mistakes. And I thought our guys right away we made a real bad decision in the neutral zone seconds after that goal, and it was all because of losing focus because of disappointment. And come playoff time, you can't afford those type of mistakes, because if you're within 2 goals, you're always within striking distance. You start spreading that out to 3 goals, you're in trouble.
Yeah, and game of inches obviously as well. VEES lose both games, get a valuable point though on Saturday. Gap is 5 over Merritt with 4 games left for the VEES. That'll wrap up segment 1. Here we come back. We'll talk about the weekend coming up and talk about a few things as well from the last week that are noteworthy. This is Coach's Corner from the Best Damn Sports Bar.
Here's a look at the VEES upcoming schedule. Remember, home or away. Follow all the action on Easy Rock AM 800 or online at www.myeasyrock.com. Why not join us next time as part of our studio audience at the Best Damn Sports Bar for another episode of Coach's Corner.
And welcome back to Coach's Corner here from the Best Damn Sports Bar. Rolling on here in segment 2. Recapped last weekend's games against Merritt and Trail. And speaking of Trail, the quote-unquote playoff series continue. Playing 4 of your last 5 against the Smoke Eaters. They're playing 4 in a row against the VEES. We talked about it in the post-game show. Actually, Steve Cawley kind of had a passionate answer saying the team needs to find that urgency from start to finish. Find that urgency that we see teams like Merritt, maybe Trail on Saturday playing. Do you think the team needs to step that up in some regard, or you like
that's just Steve being the French Canadian that he is? They're always passionate about everything. So it's hey, clearly it's this time of year. You have to. I thought we played real hard. I thought I didn't have a real issue. It's about playing smart. You have to put 2 of those things together, and you can race around like a dog after a stick all night long. But you have to be smart with your balance and your forecheck and understanding when to go in, when to pull out, so you're not giving up odd man rushes or easy exits out of the offensive zone. So I think like I said, I thought we did a real good job in practice this week, executing different things that we wanted to that we saw off tape, and I think we'll be just fine tomorrow night.
Talk about practice. Seemed like a lot of the intensity was raised that much more leading to this weekend. Seemed like a lot more energy out on the ice, we'd say, with some battle drills we saw the last couple of days.
Yeah, like I said, I don't really have an issue with our compete level for the most part, and then when things don't go well, you just can't get frustrated. It's just one of those. Our team isn't built like it was last year, and it's and there's nothing wrong with that. We still have more goals than a lot of other teams, and we just have to understand that. Like I said, Saturday night you could chalk it up for maybe a couple unfortunate breaks, and Friday night, we just have to be a little more patient. Merritt plays a game, the same way game in and game out, and it's because of the personnel that they have. They're forced to play into that, and we have to understand as a group that that we just need to be patient with our game and wait for our opportunities and always try to create opportunities, and sometimes when that happens, when you're trying to create things, especially off the rush, that's when the turnovers happen and you shorten the rink, and now you're playing a chasing game.
With this playoff series, Trail talking to Bill Burke saying that their playoffs started for them a month ago, trying to get the last playoff spot. But is it good to get a crack at the team right again the next game on a Friday night at home?
Oh, absolutely. And we are in our meeting on Monday. We made sure that we made no mistake about it, that we're not playing for first place. We're playing for a banner that's going to hang. Possibly hang in that rink for the forever, and so we needed to make it clear to our guys that we're not trying to win first so that we dodge a certain team in the first round of the playoffs or anything like that. It's about whenever you have an opportunity to put a banner in a rink, it's something pretty special, and that's something that I think our guys took to heart, and I think you'll see a great effort to try to obtain that over the next few games. And
when you're playing the same team, is it good? Because your scouting report's pretty simple. You've seen the last game. You can make some adjustments on the fly heading into Friday night. Yeah, you know what? There's no reason. We're not going to be surprised by anything. Let's put it that way. And we've talked about it many times this year. We take every game like it's our last, as far as our coaching staff goes. As far as pre-scouting and putting a game plan together, and we did the same this week, and it makes it easier, as you mentioned, because we just played that team and we're playing them 2 more times this weekend. So it's not like we're breaking our time over 2 or 3 different teams. So now it just boils down to the execution of the game plan and then the adjustments that need to be made when they make changes throughout the game. Making good points when people ask, is it all about just blocking the noise when it comes to playing a desperate team? You always talk about this, always focusing on what the VEES have to do. Is that something that's really imperative when you're playing the same team on back-to-back nights? Well, bottom line is we have to be, like I said, we have to be desperate to want to win that banner, and they're desperate to try to make the playoffs, and whatever your motivation is, you have to make sure that it's a high priority, and I think looking at our guys' eyes throughout the room, I don't think there's anybody that wants to see our season end in the next few weeks, and I think they appreciate the situation that we're in, and
it's funny when you see certain people, they're kind of looking down at their shoes with a little doom and gloom about, geez, last weekend. Well, when I look at the 16 teams in the league, I sure like where we're sitting in the standings, and especially in our division.
And you look at Trail, is that a similar team what you see? You talk about Merritt, you get the same thing from Merritt game in and game out. Is that the same? You can apply that with Trail?
Yeah, you know what, Trails, they've got a great group of forwards, and if you give them, opportunities, they can score. At the same time, when you put pressure on them and try to really, like I say, own the corners, own the below the circle game, they've been susceptible to give up a lot of goals this year. And their goaltenders have been kind of hit and miss, and Todd had a good game the other night, but there was a lot of scrambles. We need to get pucks around the net. That was one of the things that we worked on our power play, but it was getting pucks to the net, and then every time that happens, there's going to be maybe a second shot opportunity.
We'll talk about more Trail and our preview coming up next break. A team that's a little different at home than they are on the road as well. Sliding along, obviously, race for first place, kind of alluded to just off the top here, and a good point you made, just reiterated, is the fact that you're not playing for first place or avoiding a team, but you're talking about there's some history to be involved with the banner in the rafters.
Yeah, where we're trying to get the interior pennant, and then also we're still on the hunt for the Ron Boileau President's Trophy. So for first overall, I mean it's not out of our grasp yet with 4 games to go, and like I said, anybody that's won anything in the past understands that those opportunities don't come around every day, and it's a special moment when you're able to be part of those. And I talk to our guys about, right now when you're 16 to 20, it doesn't you don't think that far down the road. You think about day to day, but it's special when you go back into rinks when you're an older guy and you have kids of your own, and you can point up to a banner and say that I was part of that.
And you don't want to get ahead of yourself, still have 4 games to take care of, but in the big picture of things when it comes to playoffs, home ice is a big advantage for the VEES, considering how darn good this team's been at the SOEC since they opened. Yeah,
I think it's critical, and if it doesn't happen, then we readjust. But right now we're in the driver's seat. We hold our destiny in our own hands, and it's up to us to hang on to first and keep shoring up our game. I thought, like I said, there's parts of our game that have been real strong. There's parts of our game that we've seen little blips, and we just need to clean those areas up.
Possibility, I think, math's not the greatest, but if the way it goes for the VEES, 2 wins, 2 regulation losses for Merritt, could be a clinching for first place this weekend. That's right.
Yeah. You know what? And to be honest, I was never great at math, so I don't even try to do the math. I just go. Tomorrow night, it's a huge game for us, and we need to find a way to play well. And if we do, I think we'll grab 2 points.
I don't know. You're a stats guru. I don't know about that. Advice up there. All right, we'll come back with our weekend preview. Trail double dip coming up starting tomorrow night, the SOEC, and Saturday. We'll talk about that after the break on Coach's Corner.
Here's a look at the VEES' upcoming schedule. Remember, home or away. Follow all the action on Easy Rock AM 800 or online at www.myeasyrock.com. Why not join us next time as part of our studio audience at the Best Damn Sports Bar for another episode of Coach's Corner.
Keep on talking about Trail on the broadcast here, because that's the team that VEES are playing for the next 2 times this weekend as we wrap up Coach's Corner here. Starts tomorrow night again, round 2 of the Smoke Eaters at the SOEC. VEES on home ice, very good this year, one of the best home records in the BCHL, and all the Trail Smoke Eaters, I think, team that's had their fair of struggles on the road. Is it a Jekyll and Hyde with Trail? We've seen Trail on the road before at the SOEC, and we've seen them at home twice now as well. How do you explain, or how do you look into a team that's different on home and road?
It's a tough travel, I mean, there's longer trips in the league, there's no question, but that one's just a funny one because you leave the same day, and not to make excuses, but I mean, it's not an easy trip, and so maybe that plays into them when they're on the road. But I'm sure they'll be ready for this one tomorrow. They played well. They got behind the last time they were in our building and came back in the third, and we hung on for that win, but. I think, I know they'll be excited and they'll be jacked up to play us, and for us, an opportunity to win 20 at home, 20 home wins, and that's never easy. And we take a lot of pride, like always having one of the, if not the best, one of the top home records in the BCHL year after year.
And it'd be the first team to hit 20 wins in the BCHL on their final home game. Is it about confidence? Because we see Trail, a lot of confidence, different animal at home. And the road, maybe the confidence isn't there. So is it big to start to get on them early and make them on their heels, so to speak?
Yeah, the thing with them is with Trail is they're never out of a game because they have the ability to score. And they've got 4 lines that can play, and so it's one of those things right now with our team is don't give anything away. There's nothing wrong with getting scored on first. Everybody makes a big deal. You clearly you want to score the first goal when you can, but if it doesn't happen, you have to try to counter back, and it's just making sure that you're not giving free chances, free opportunities. Make your opponent create something, not just give it to them.
And make them earn it. Also, I guess when it comes to the start, like you said, scoring is not maybe most crucial thing, but just zone time, I guess, as well, forcing them inside their own zone.
Well, like I said earlier in the show, we talked. That was our number one area that we worked on this week and talked about. It's clearly the game is about putting the puck in the opposition's net, but when you're playing against another team, they have other ideas. So we talked about not just entering the zone and trying to get a quick fix. It's about trying to establish that zone control, and maybe one line goes out there and hangs on to the pucks and really grinds them down, and maybe it's 2 shifts later that you see the rewards from it. And one of the line I brought them up many a times, and we've been talking about with our team, is that the DePort Blandwell Amateo line is probably one of the best in the league about the cycle game. And here's 3 guys that are all smaller players, so it's not a physical thing, it's a want thing, and they move their feet, and they don't force plays, and those are the 3 things that are critical, and it's going to be we're going to make sure that the players stick to that game plan right off the hop tomorrow night.
Almost like you're telling teams to relax, maybe not try to press or feel any pressure, obviously, off the start against Trail.
Well, there's no reason to. Like I said, the pressure's on them, not on us. I mean, we're the ones sitting in first place. They're the ones trying to. They're probably down to their last grasp of air. So it's something unforeseen goes against us, then we just push forward and like I say, not feel sorry for ourselves, not lose focus where all of a sudden you give up another one because you're still thinking of the first one, and when we do have success, that we just continue understand why we're having success. And at this level, I mean, at any level, at the National Hockey League level, it's the same thing, but it's obviously magnified more at the younger ages, and the junior A level is just trying to keep the guys focused and on the straight and narrow.
Talked about Adam Todd earlier in the last segment. He had an honorable mention for Player of the Week, the Trail goaltender. Like you said, they've been hit and miss. Numbers don't really jump out at you because goals against is 3.66 going into this weekend. Is it, like you said, though, getting some pucks in around his feet, make him move, make him work for those shots?
He seemed to have trouble when they were, he just sort of corralling the puck. There seemed to be always an opportunity for a second shot opportunity, and so making sure that we're not easing up as we're going to the net, that we're getting that inside man drive into the right to the front of the paint, and looking for those sort of you want to call them garbage goals or greasy goals, whatever you want to call it. And this time of year, that's how you're going to win hockey games. And he definitely made the saves that he had to make, but at the same time, watching tape, there was opportunities that we that were there for us to put the game away. And I think that's you give us another opportunity at it tomorrow night, and we'll have to make good on it.
I know we use a T word a lot, transition, throughout the year, talking on our pregame shows on the radio side of things. Is that imperative too? It seems like Trail's a team that's high risk, high reward from the back end. Guys like Braden Pears, Braden Jones, not shy about rushing the puck up, but do you want to make plays at the red line, maybe counter with some odd man rushes the other way?
Well, whenever teams, turn pucks over on us in the neutral zone or the top of the circles in our end, it's everything about going north-south. I mean, that's one area that one of our strengths is our feet, and then making sure. I thought Saturday night when we did try to transition the puck, we were stretching too much, and we were getting when we did make that stretch pass, it was one man kind of on an island, and so we need to have a little better balance when we create those turnovers on our transition game.
Yeah. Also, guys like Marley Ketch as well like to rush the puck up. And obviously, last point we talked about earlier, just not taking dumb penalties or ill-advised penalties, making Trail earn those power play opportunities.
Yeah, it's a game of inches, and you start giving teams 3, 4, 5 power plays. No matter how good your penalty kill is, they're going to hurt you.
Well, tomorrow night it starts, and then Saturday as well. 7 o'clock, last home game for the year for the VEES in the regular season. 7 o'clock at the SOEC. Like I think everybody that's come down. It's been another episode of Coach's Corner right here from the Best Damn Sports Bar.
Coach's Corner has been a presentation of the Penticton VEES. Production services provided by Groovy Productions and Synergy Imaging. I'm Wayne Williams. And remember, everyone, help control the pet population. Have your pet spayed or neutered.